Waiting for Seeds to Freedom, 5th of September 2020.
Okay, we should be live now. Should be on. Should. Just changed phones.
Try again.
Let's see if that works.
I heard sound.
I think Nikolaska is there. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. All I've done is change phones.
I see you did do it on your little one.
Yeah, I started on my newer phone, but I've gone back to the older phone.
See, the last couple of times your little phone was playing up.
All right, you probably didn't hear me before. I was asking how was college. How is it going? Bread biscuits.
And pizza.
Okay. Bread biscuits. Confused. It must be a savoury
No, she made bread
biscuits.
and biscuits, I think that's meant to be.
Okay. If they're bread biscuits, they'll be like savoury, which is nice, particularly if it's Italian. When you learn the art of making pizza dough, you can make any dough. It's very simple. You can range off into focaccia, Vienna, whatever you like. Bread's scary for a lot of people. It's just a process.
That one now.
I think off memory you'll be doing breads, and then you'll have a long run of doing sauces. All different types of sauces for all different types of dishes, because most of the time they are the base ingredient. Things like roux, pretty simple, but when you start kicking into other sauces, soups, yeah, soups, bread, soup, sauces. Off memory, that's what you start learning. They're the fundamentals. And you can always live off bread and soup. I sometimes, when I'm making, say, a broth, a beef stock, or whatever stock, it's a long process. It'll take up to about 6 hours, but you get the right marrowbone, the yumminess, and then you transfer it. It's an absolute brilliant broth just to drink on its own. You'll have the mirepoix, you'll have the celery, carrot, onion, etc. But you can throw anything into a beef stock in particular, but I tend to keep beef stocks fairly just beef. Yeah. The proper, I knew he wasn't Chinese, he was Malay, brilliant cook, and he said he would make his broths overnight, and he would even do things like get all these beef bones in particular, and he'd roast them for 6 hours at about 150 Celsius, and just let all the extraction take place. Then he would start making his broths. But he said that's the basis of all the different foods he would make. Chicken broth is a lot quicker, but beef is a process, there's no doubt about it. In fact, if you went into a supermarket, they do it here, and I'll never buy it, but they sell bone broth in like 400 millimetre bottles or less for $10. And I'm thinking, nah, I'm not paying that. But it's the broths. Into Asian countries, you'll find a lot of different. I'm always curious, even though we have a language barrier on some occasions. I will see what they're doing, like fish fish heads being used for a fish stock, and they'll use different types of greens to get a different extract flavour. And you can even say, even with a language barrier, you just point to a clock and say, how long? And they go, let's stick their hand up and say 10 or 8. See, broths in particular, or stock, shouldn't be complicated. The beef broth I love best. I could have a meal of just a beef broth, which is absolutely delicious. And just bread. It's so delicious, but it's the basis for a lot of things. And you can freeze your stocks. There's a restaurant in Sydney that has a huge pot. It must be 5 gallons, which is pretty big. It's about, I don't know, 15 litres. And what they do is they've never changed that pot in 50 years. It sounds incredible. It's always ticking away. It's just ticking away. And then they take excess out and then they'll add more. It's like a never-ending broth. And I read up some articles about 16th century and 17th century cooking in the UK. They did the same thing. They would have broths just simmering away on the back, and they would add this and they would add that. A lot of broths were made from leftover roasted meats, obviously on open fire, and then they would put them into huge pots, cauldrons, and just slowly but surely, over many, many weeks and months, just keep adding to it. My grandmother did a similar thing. She would have a broth. It would be the same pot with different ingredients in, but she never moved it. Just ladled out whatever she needed. There's a lot of tricks in cooking. When I say tricks, I mean skills. I shouldn't say tricks. That once you learn, you don't forget. It's like it becomes part of your arsenal. And then you think to yourself, well, I've got all these information and knowledge now, and I'll tell you what, I'll change that one a little bit, and I'll add this and add that. That's when your creativity comes in cooking, because you know the flavours, the textures, and then you think, that should work well with duck, or that should work well with a chicken broth. Some people put too much ingredients, too many ingredients, and sometimes makes a mess of a meal. Yeah, you will remember to be like little sleeves of knowledge, flavours, consistency, and you'll go along the path and you'll have all these information cells in your brain, and you'll think, well, I'll tell you what, that way of making a bouillabaisse, I will just change it a bit and try that, because I know the flavours. And there's one thing you must always do, no matter what you're cooking, you must taste it. There's no point, that's why I don't like recipes. People say, oh, just follow the recipe, you'll be good. No, there's one ingredient missing in that recipe, and that is constantly tasting to make sure you might need to season more, or you think, oh, it's very bland, I need to put some sort of kicker in there. When the world opens up again, you should travel, not just to Korea. Yeah, recipes are not a basis for flavour. They're ingredients. It has to be your gut instinct on a few occasions, like I never measure. I visualise and I think, well, that needs a little bit of black pepper. It's like I cooked a steak for it, a beautiful steak. And it's always a simple process for me. It's just season, salt and pepper, and then olive oil on top of the steak on the first side. And then of course I put that down in the pan, and then I'll repeat on the side that hasn't been done. I never oil the pan, I oil the steak. And people may say, no, you don't do it that way, and I'm saying that's fine. It leaves a clean pan, first of all, and it sears beautifully. I don't put a lot of salt on anything other than that. when I'm cooking, I'll add salt, or let people add salt at the end. A lot of people say that my mum does too. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I mean, I grew up with old recipes because I'm old. That helps. But what I mean by that is very simple food. Whatever was growing at the time was in the pot. Always a broth of some sort. Oil in the stone, yeah. There's two parties that say, no, you've got to oil the pan. But what happens when you put oil in a really hot pan? It starts to burn. There's no way around it. Whereas you put the oil on the steak, it sears. It doesn't have excess oil. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. What I was saying, I grew up with very simple, tasty food, which involved a lot of things that people would not eat today. You're not going to get a lot of people say, can I have 2 kilos of rabbit? I had a lot of rabbit when I was a kid. People have often said, what would you do if the shit hit the fan? I say, well, I'd start eating rabbit because we've got about 20 billion of them in Australia. And does it taste like chicken? Not really, it tastes like rabbit. It's a consistency of chicken. If you make a casserole, it falls apart. I remember the old cages at my grandfather's place. He used to raise, I think it was something like 400 rabbits a year. And he'd have customers. He'd skin them and gut them and deliver a couple. Usually it was a pair of rabbits people bought. And I don't know what he used to get. He used to make a few bob out of it. And he'd eat a lot of rabbit. It's protein. I mean, chickens in their history are pretty new to humankind. We had everything else, then we domesticated, made cows and chickens the way they are now. But I'm sure you're looking forward to getting to Korea, South Korea one day. But don't miss the other Asian countries, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand. You can do a tour. And if you're lucky enough, always ask the question, can I come behind and watch what you're doing? And most of them are not going to say no to you. And then, like I say, visually you might get a little information, but if you write down and you know, if you smell it, and oh, it's nutmeg, I'll write that down. Yeah, they've done the same for about 30 years with bacon. And they just pump it full of, 30% extra weight is 30% extra money, and all it is water.
And it spits.
They don't allow them to do it in Australia anymore.
No.
Our bacon sizzles, it doesn't spit. But a good test in the future after you get your skills is just to get, say, base 6 ingredients, whatever it is, and make 6 meals. What do I mean by that? Well, a variety of different combinations, flavours, spices, herbs. However you present it, you can still make a lot of different meals with the same ingredients. But it's a great trade to be in if you have a passion for food and you're still young. I got so busy in life, and the wife's sitting there, she'll back now, I was going to open up like a little pub restaurant and only cater for about 50 serves a night. And I just got so busy with life working that I never got round to doing it. You can I did a series a long time ago, a few years ago, about how to live off $20 a week. Now, I know your prices are a bit higher in the UK. I know that for a fact. I think I could do it for 20 quid. I could do it. It's like if you make up a shepherd's pie. It's you, your mum, your dad and Milo. So there's a small portion disappearing.
And the cats.
But if you make up enough that makes 2 meals, I can do it here for about $12 I can make, and that gives us 6 meals. So $2 a meal. And you don't have to keep the same ingredients. You can make lasagna, you can make shepherd's pie, if we're talking ground beef. Made all sorts of things, meatloaf,
Spaghetti slice.
rissoles. Sorry?
Spaghetti slice.
Yep, spaghetti slice. It's just a case. For me, it's all about flavour. There is nothing else. If I went to your place and you dished it up and I thought, Jesus, looks like someone's just run over that, but if it tasted good, I'm going to be happy. Because that's all I go on, is taste. One of the big institutions here, and it was the same in the UK, was Sunday. Now, I'm not just talking about roast, I'm talking about people going out to, say, like the British Legion or clubs, and having, like you went out recently with your friend, and then you have a meal, and it's probably a big spend out of your normal budget, but at the moment you're getting half price, Nicole. So, but it used to be an institution. Pubs in particular would get a lot of families come on Sundays. When I was a kid, pubs were family orientated. Kids could go to the pub just as much as adults.
Sometimes they give you actually too much. Remember Ingrid's birthday at the Wooden Meter pub, whatever
Oh
it's
yeah,
called?
they were huge, weren't they?
Look
Monster.
Look at the waste.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't even, I think we had schnitzel or something, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
ended in
At least you got 50% for a month. But I know you're the same as me. You will sit down to a nice, say, steak, gravy, mushrooms, chips and salad and think, all right, I just paid 12 quid for that. How could I make the same at home and what would it cost me? Hello, Danny. I do that all the time. I don't ever complain about paying for a meal when I'm out. Never have. But I'm thinking, I had a steak recently. It was something like $45. It was a nice steak, salad, chips. I replicated it about 3 weeks later, and it was about $12. And I realised people need to make money. So, like I say, I will never knock whatever I have to pay. But it was, Sundays in particular in the UK as a kid, a lot of families go to the pubs, British Legions. It wasn't really barbecues, it was always some sort of sit-down naffy meal. If your mum's there, she'll know what I'm talking about. Or navvy, they used to call them. But good meals. And the school lunches when I was a kid, they were good size. They were always filling, like, you know what I mean, stew and dumplings. So, like I say, for me, I remember growing up, lots of broths, lots of stews. We didn't call them casseroles. Bread and jam. I wasn't living in a war, but we ate wartime food, if you know what I mean. Rabbits, pheasants. We used to catch pheasants as kids. As a neighbour, if we got 4 or 5 pheasants, the kids would take them to old Jock, who used to clean them up and divvy them up. And people could have pheasant. You didn't have to be rich. But lots of veggies when I was a kid. Cabbage, onions. Oh, they got me. Live on YouTube, Seeds has been shot. No, it's just someone firing a cracker, I think. Or someone shooting someone else. Weather's definitely turning here. We're getting beautiful days. It's 17 degrees here at night, just after 8 p.m. Gentle breeze. Good time of the year. I just stopped auto-correcting. It annoys me. You'll type in, and sometimes it abbreviates what you were going to say. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm thinking, if autocorrect makes it look unintelligible, it's like, what's the point of having autocorrect? remember someone asked me about the theatre, and I typed in Tivoli Theatre, and it came out Trev Theatre. I'm thinking that's not really a good autocorrect. And how have you been, Danny? Back at work? I was reading somewhere the other day, Danny, that you said you had bacon and eggs. Oh, you left a comment on one of mine that you had bacon and eggs at work. That sounds like a pretty flash job. Not only do you get paid to go there, they give you bacon and eggs. Some crabs for dinner. Changed to Arabs. Yeah, I'm going to stir fry some Arabs. Add a little bit of oil. Arabian oil. Are you in California? Going to the beach? Well, I think it's quite warm where you are then. I did see the news regarding the weather yesterday. It was like 102, 104. So you'll be getting a suntan. Fanny's here.
Ah, okay. How you doing, Fanny?
No worries, Nicole. Say hello to your mum. Hello, Loof.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you probably wouldn't reach the status of being on the red carpet, Danny.
What do you mean a meet-up?
Just catching up.
Hi, Mummy.
She said hi.
Hi, Mummy. Adopted mother.
That's the question I was going to ask Nicole. Is the phrase still being used a lot? It's an East Ender phrase, but it's used all over the UK. In it. Instead of ain't it, do they still say in it?
Ain't it? So Danny's going on a holiday.
She's with the daughter in California.
Oh, she's there now.
Yeah, it's just lazy, isn't it, Nicole? In it. Santa Rosa.
Yeah, that's true, Nicole.
Isn't it a bit smoky there, Danny? Or they died down a bit? I think we've got 55 firefighters going over to California from here. Yeah. It's like all right is abbreviated in Mang too. Rut. It's hardly ever spoken. It's just rut.
What?
The smoke has died down. Well, we certainly don't want to hear about a smoky fanny.
Uh-huh.
We've already had big bushfires up north in our state. Our state is really big, and some of the areas have been getting 110 already, and it certainly makes the ground very crispy. One of the things I remember in my grandfather's What? My fanny is smoking. Ooh, ooh. When I was a kid, you'd always see my uncles and aunties say, like someone's coming around, they say, our Kath is coming around, our Kath. It was always our Kath or our Tony or our John, things like that. But over the UK, you only had to, because I had family in Yorkshire, and it's a totally different language. I don't mean it's not English, I mean it's just said differently, spoken differently. Now it can be done about that. Icky thump. Nicole would know what that is. But we're looking forward to the warmer weather, getting some summer crops planted. We should have the start on our front paving Monday?
Yeah,
Monday?
hoping the weather.
I'll do a little video about that. People have seen enough of our paving. I'll show the before and after. I've seen videos over the years, Danny, of Texas coastline. It's sandy, but I don't ever recall seeing like white sand. It was always sort of greyish. Am I wrong?
Sheila's.
Have you been watching Vinegar Tits, Fanny?
Sheila's, Danny.
I know you all call males blokes. Sheila's, yeah. Sheila. Even though Sheila is a woman's name, men talk about women as Sheilas. Are not to be desired. Yeah, some of the documentaries I've seen on marine biology in Texas, they don't seem to light up. I mean, our beaches we're spoilt here. We've actually got a beach up north in Shark Bay, which is about a 12-hour drive from here. We call that just up the road. And it's all made out of seashells. It's just seashells. There's no sand. I imagine the Texas coastline gets churned up every year. I didn't see it, but I have been told that the man in the van has adopted a young son. Is that right? It's an adoption, I believe, is it? I'm sure you people know more than I do. It will all come to end soon. Well, I can say just by looking at the situation that it won't bode well. Hello, Paddy. Yeah, I think he's beyond nonce. You've been in bed texting to us. So you're going to get up and make a coffee, followed by, you can tell us. Oh, it tasted beautiful. It was Scotch fillet. and my wife wouldn't eat the way I cooked it. It was medium rare, but it just falls apart. It wasn't huge. It was probably 10 ounces, I guess. Yes, I am prone while texting. Prone can suggest a lot of things, Danny. We'll just say you were laying in bed. We were going to go to my son's house tomorrow for Father's Day, but the youngest,
Yes,
Sophia, has a cold.
Well, I think it's more to do with her teething.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's just very irritable, and we know what kids are like when they're teething.
So I shall, I think the wife was saying we're going to see our other daughter and babysit dogs. We babysitted the baby today.
There's a problem with them.
I could oil some more pots.
I don't know about the weather tomorrow.
Nice. It's raining
thought it was-
Monday, apparently.
Oh, I thought it was going to rain tomorrow.
Well, not rain, spit. It rain's finished for us, really. And we'll do a few trips after our main area at the front's finished. Want to go show them Kings Park. They'll love the views from there. Then you'll get to see our city. So
Yeah, when the weather warms up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that can be cold
We'll go
wind
for
up there.
a picnic up there and take the camera. We'll take you down the river, go on a river cruise. We've done the wine cruise recently, so we should do the river cruise. Maybe get to that place and have lunch at the place we had.
Hmm?
The other area, you know where the museum was on the edge of the river? At the front of that's heaps of areas of bars and around the side.
Oh,
So you can get there by cruising and then get off and have lunch.
and the main museum I want to go to is not open until the 20th of November, and that alone is a day in itself.
That should be good. We've been waiting since last year.
Now, do you want to try 3 years?
Yeah, remember we were at Terry's unit in the city, we looked over and
Yeah, yeah.
they'd started, but
3 years.
oh well, things take time.
But they've put Otto the whale back up.
Are they?
Otto the whale is over 100 years old.
Yeah.
It was in the museum.
It's probably not well though.
It was in the original museum.
And maybe after the summer we'll take you gold prospecting. We're thinking of doing that, aren't we?
Yeah.
We come on an adventure looking for gold. Or gem fossicking, or maybe a combination. And we'll be out in the bush at night time. Min lights will appear. I don't know if I'm buffering again.
Tell you. In a sec. No. Well, Dennis just going to get himself a coffee and a cold.
Oh, I should be heading for the bacon and eggs too though, come on.
The Cole's fixing Mum's meds and getting ready to go to the shop.
just up road. Not sure how close she is to the high street. Which doesn't sort of happen in Australia. All the high streets are dead now because they're major shopping centres. What's the time? 8:25. I think that's running very shortly, isn't it, Paddy? Kentucky Derby. It's a bit like the Melbourne Cup. It's a big event. Actually, you have what they call Triple Crown. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's today. Yeah, it is today, Paddy says. Yeah, yeah. Sad that people won't get to see it.
I mean, even though our state's safe, our yearly show's not on either because of interstate
Yeah,
people who usually come.
a lot of the shows, royal shows in Australia, have everyone come from every state to go to their royal show. And with no one allowed in, it really wouldn't be an event.
I don't know, they could do one, it just would be a smaller scale.
I think what will happen is that the produce will go ahead, but not be called the Royal Show, and cooking and baking, all those events.
Show bags. And they could do sheep shearing and the wood
I
chopping.
don't think it'll be like that.
I said,
They don't want crowds, but I think that competition of cooking and baking and growing produce, people will still do something.
I don't know.
Okay, Paddy, I'll give you a number. Number 4. I don't know who that is in the Kentucky Derby, but I'm picking it.
I'll have number 9.
There you go. 4 for me and 9 for Mr. Angel.
So let us know how we fare.
We bet once a year on the Melbourne Cup. And we allow 10 or 20 bucks. And we just, you pick 400 horses, I pick one. She figures that if she spreads out $20 over 20 horses, she's a winner. Whereas I go, that one. Horse racing's good in country towns in particular, big events. Do you remember in was it Armidale? We went with a few mates to the races, and the whole town turns out.
Oh,
Remember years ago we went to the bush races?
yeah.
That was good fun. Good food, good company, and the odd little flutter on the races. Which I did all right that day. I remember.
You did.
Yeah. Gambling in general is a mug's game. Yeah, we'll do a few little trips this year, I think. Not in the middle of summer. We could go fishing, you could read a book. No worries. I don't. What is number 4 and what is number 9's name? Out of curiosity. I can't look it up, so I've got one phone doing one thing and another phone broadcasting.
I wouldn't even know how to look that up.
Just Kentucky Derby. So we'd have to type in. But Paddy's got it in front of her. She's
Yeah.
We had a winner of the Melbourne Cup called something Zero, passed away. He was 27 years old, the horse.
Wow. What's it doing? Spoon saver.
Yeah, it does its own thing.
Oh, that's loud.
What is it?
That, whatever he's...
Okay.
I just don't remember
I don't remember doing
doing
that.
that, no.
Yeah. Maybe after a period of time it does it so whoever's fallen asleep gets woken up. Could be it. When I was younger, I used to do a bit of race calling in a local town.
I have to sleep better tonight.
You should do.
I haven't had good sleep for a week.
Okay. Welcome to my world. I don't know whether I'm spinning or I've lost connection.
No, it's just I think they're listening in the background. I think
For listening, I shall tell a story.
yeah, tell a story. 'Cause they're listening.
Once upon a time, in the land of Paddy, wild elephants roamed. Might have to sing. That'll make them either run away completely. I've got a library of songs. Yep. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me go over everything. Oops, I missed Paddy's comment, but I ain't done much here.
For years I went to the races with a friend
Hello.
of ours.
Can you
Raced
hear me?
thoroughbreds, small time.
I'm in California
Had a
like
farm in
Denny,
West Virginia, and
dreaming
we
about
visited many
things that
times.
used to
So
be
much
when
fun.
we were younger
Oh, and the
and
winner's
free.
circle, woo.
I've forgotten, felt far, the world fell at our feet. Such a difference between us and a million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done when I called
Thanks,
you.
Paddy.
Never
Gonna look up
seemed
what the apples
to
are
be
called.
home. Okay. Hello from the outside. At least I can see that I tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. It don't matter, really doesn't tear you apart anymore. Enough singing. Little boy, you'll get tired.
Oh, you get flagged.
Probably. The rest of the house is up and starting breakfast. I have to get going. Long day ahead, and which is via text every
Okay.
day. Have a good one, Danny.
Enjoy.
think there might be a bit of bacon involved in the next 20 minutes. You collect elephants.
Oh, really? That's a nice thing to collect.
Well, you collect certain things. They're called chickens.
Yes, I collect chickens. Elephants are very majestic.
It's staying quite nice tonight. It's not cold.
I am.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think.
well,
My buddy Paddy's bought another 10 elephants. It's
Real
like
ones.
5,000 on a property, damn. Elephant crap everywhere. Rose garden looks good though. It's one animal I wouldn't try to upset. An elephant.
There's quite a few animals you wouldn't want to upset.
Well,
A rhino,
well,
elephant,
elephant
giraffe,
is very nimble on its feet and fast.
and then don't forget.
Elephants don't forget. How come they don't make good poker players then? I tell you what, Paddy, I did see a news article from the US today. It's funny. It was on television. And it was a young couple who raised 2 baby
Yeah.
raccoons. And what they've got the raccoons doing is painting. They're making paintings and selling them for about $100 each, which I thought, well, quite good, I suppose. Some states in the US don't allow you to keep raccoons as pets, but their state does. I think it was North
Well,
Carolina.
yeah, because they actually rescued them.
Yeah.
They were rescued raccoons. They're a bit mixture between a cat and a dog actually with their behaviour. They're very social animal. They don't, they can get nasty, don't get me wrong, but they do like to play.
Ferrets are the same.
Yeah, well, I've been bitten by one of them, that hurts.
They get a bit musky after a while, ferrets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, some of these animals are nice to have, but they take more looking after than your general dog and cat in one respect.
Cats you don't really look after. They attend when they're ready. We probably won't be able to broadcast when we go gold prospecting. We'll have to do videos. But that's okay. Hummingbirds. We've got 2 species of hummingbirds in Australia, but they're usually in the tropics.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking birds. I did see there's a very tiny species of hummingbird in the US. Very, very tiny. Saw a video of that last year. The computer is running slow. Does it make noise like, you know, when your computer's getting old, that it sounds like a Mack truck? Sometimes, usually in summer, we can't bring our phones outside. We're okay coming out, but they just get too hot, don't they?
Yeah.
Gets to about 100, they start to get a little bit temperamental. We might call it a night. What do you think? As the ghost train arrives to pick us up. It's good night from Mr. Angels.
So you're trying to find our horses for us. That's why it's saying our computer was slow.
Oh, well, we got to wait.
Yes.
We're not going yet. Stand by.
He said she'd drop them up.
Okay. No worries.
Our computer's running slow, so just give Patty 5 minutes.
Will do. Okay, I actually found it. I just searched Kentucky Derby myself.
Oh, okay.
Your horse is called Mr. Big News. 40 to 1. I'm Storm the Court at 21 to 1.
What's one called?
Mr. Big News.
Mr. Big News.
Yeah.
We found him, Patty.
Pretty sure will be online. We'll be able to watch it, I guess. Let's have a look. Type in Kentucky
What's it found? What time it's on?
Derby. Well, it'll be midday, 2 o'clock.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get up. Hopefully I'm asleep by then. No way you've got so many lurkers.
Have we got lurkers?
Well,
Lurkers in the Storm Court, 50 to 1. Yeah, that's where I'm going to make my money. Trainer Peter Uriton, jockey Julian. I didn't see the last bit.
Julian Lepra, something, I can't say. We're up for
40 to 1 sounds good. Stick a penny on that.
50 to 1.
50 to 1 sounds even better.
That's a good day. Stole the court.
That's in a normal year. Hopefully, we put that calendar to 2021. we'll be
Leperux
back.
is a good jockey. Good on him.
Well, there's my friend Homie.
By the sounds of it, 4 and 9 will make a good Quinella.
Yeah, I see the Outriders got to take a, probably got home maybe they get a little bit of that, but we give them much,
Mine's 50 to 1 as well.
Nice.
Trying to bet for. Mr. Big News. Yes.
Thank you, Paddy. Yep, we got him. The ghost train has arrived. Right, we shall leave now. But thank you for that, Paddy. Very kind of you.
We'll have to wait for the news tomorrow because I'm not getting up at 2 in the
No, we're not going to get up at 2 in the morning. Whoops. Oh, nearly got that right first time. Thank you for doing that. And we'll see all of you another time. Go storm the court. Number 4 in the Kentucky Derby. 50 to 1. Just imagine if you sold your house and put $100,000 on it. It'd be amazing. $5 million. Or no house.
Yeah, probably no house.
See you next time. Bye-bye.